Again, on behalf of the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce, again, we'd like to welcome you to our good friend and one of our leaders of our healthcare industry, Dr. Sterling, who we have a valued relationship. Dr. Sterling did not get into his long resume of great accomplishment as a surgeon, as an author, and so many other things that he does. So I, again, want to personally applaud him. He flew in from California to make sure he made the trip, so I want to give Dr. Sterling a hand. Let me also acknowledge there have been some changes in the new administration. And one of the exciting changes that's happened has been the Secretary of Transportation. And it's a pleasure to introduce a young man that I've known for maybe close to 20 years, I think, Omar. Omar is the new acting Secretary of Transportation, a great friend. He understands diversity, and I like for you to give him a round of applause. He comes up and say hello to me. So this time, Omar Osmond, the acting Secretary of Transportation.
I'm not that loud. Good evening, everyone. Absolutely a pleasure. Larry and I have known each other for, we talked about it this morning in our meeting. I'm a Peoria product. I might have an accent, but I lived for 30-something years in Peoria, and that's where I met Larry. Great relationship when I was in District 4 for 20 years. We worked together, specifically on the I-74 project through downtown Peoria. That was about 12, 13 years ago, Larry. And throughout, we have had a great relationship with Black Chamber. I absolutely admire the tenacity, the involvement. It's not just about transportation, everything. And that's what makes the Black Chamber as an organization special, persistent, and involvement in just every facet of life. Larry and the Chamber and the board, you guys do a great job. I appreciate that. My door is open, like we talked about this morning. Always, we'll meet down the road. And thank you for coming to IDA this morning. Thank you.
Let me introduce the next person, this young lady. She's a member of a phenomenal organization that a lot of people have talked about throughout the year. Has been an organization by the name of Camelot. Camelot is the organization that has the contract for the lottery. And when I met Norma and I met the organization, you know, you never know what people are going to do, and what, you know, you can say one thing and do another. That happens often sometimes in life. But Camelot didn't just talk about their commitment, they lived up to their commitment. And they did some things that, quite frankly, in the first number of contracts they had, I looked at their percentage of spend with African Americans, and I doubt that anyone had a spend that was as significant in terms of just the number of contracts that went to African Americans, and Norma was a critical part of that with the team of Camelot. They also made another commitment that I don't think many organizations made, but they went out, we talked to them about black media throughout the state. And we talked to the leadership, Colin Hedden, who's the general manager for Illinois Lottery, and Keith Horton, who's the vice president. And we talked about why they should make an investment in black media. They understood that, and it was exciting to see 7 black media companies to sign a contract with the lottery.
We started operations with the lottery in January, running as the private manager in January 2018, and it feels like it's been non-stop since then. But we value the partnership with the Illinois Black Chamber of Commerce, as well as our African American media partners and other vendors who we have done business with. So 2018, as I said, was an exciting year. First of all, in October, we had the second largest Mega Millions jackpot. Well, the largest jackpot, Mega Millions jackpot, but the second largest jackpot for lottery. So remember in October, that jackpot was 1.5 billion. And so that was exciting. And the jackpot seemed to grow and become bigger every few months. So that's been very exciting for us. But when it comes to lottery, another, as I said, one of the biggest development for us is that we took over operation of the lottery as a private manager on behalf of the Illinois Department of Lottery. We want to create an innovative lottery, we want to create a responsible lottery, and we want to create a sustainable lottery. The lottery is one of the top 5 revenue sources for the state of Illinois. So that's exciting. So since 1985, the Illinois Lottery has contributed more than $20 billion to the Common School Fund. That's significant. The Common School Fund supports charitable projects such as disabled veterans. You know, we run special tickets for that. Breast cancer, multiple sclerosis research. So those are exciting projects, and what we expect is that that will grow. To date, for 2018, we believe that the lottery will grow by 3.8% over the previous year. So we're planning on that we will contribute $735 million towards the Common School Fund. So that's very exciting for us. One of the biggest things that we have done this year since we took over from the previous technology vendor is that we have transformed the retail operations with new updated gaming technology. So that's going to be rolled out in the upcoming months, spring and summer. So look for it over the summer. It's new technology. We want to make the games more exciting, more engaged. We've rolled out a website, updating, rolling out a new website, and also doing more stuff on the digital front. As far as Camelot is concerned, we support our business enterprise partners. Very much committed to that. We have a 20% goal, and it's our desire to not only meet the goal, but to exceed it. And I'm happy to say that as of today, we're 122% of the goal. A lot of that depends on all of you, our lead vendors. We have contracted 27 contracts out of 87 with lead vendors, of which 10 are African American vendors. Some of the vendors that we have contracts with, law firms like Hugh Jones, like Brothers and Thompson. We also have contract with Angel Flight, Ken Holly, recommends to Larry. We're very, very happy with them. Excel, print, screen and printing. Flowers Communication, we do a lot of business with. We have OH Community Partners, which is a community outreach group. Resource One, Nelson Transport, and Burke Design, which is a website service provider. We have major subcontractors, Scientific Games, STI, and now we have transformed. Now we also contract with Interval, which is our major technology provider, and we have got them to and encourage them to utilize these vendors. Previous to Interlab, we had contract with GTAP, which was very supportive of BEP firms. And in fact, between SGI and GTAP, they spent more than $3 million with BEP vendors. Some of the things that we do to really support our BEP communities is that we had a list of what we call provisionally approved. These were vendors who were pre-approved as we enter into the contract. And so we have entered into a contract with all the African American vendors on that list. We still have a couple more, but they're not African American, but we're still making contracts with other BEP vendors, but all the African American vendors are on this contract. when we publish RFPs, and to date, we have published 11, we either put a goal on it, or we encourage the prime contractor to select a VP subcontractor to participate in that. Or we specifically say we're really looking for a firm to take over, to manage this project. Small contracts under 50,000, first priority that I'm going to look for is finance. So that could be for printing, that could be for web design services, that could be for writing services, marketing services, you know, although that's a big spend. And our goal, our 20% goal is based on marketing. We have a spend goal of $1.2 million. Small contracts under 50,000 primarily go to BP vendors. Thank you. And so that's why I come to events like this, because I am interested in meeting and reaching out to BEP vendors who can help us as we move forward with our desire to support lottery and our BEP partners in general. We have outreach partners. Larry mentioned the African American media, but we're just excited. We've had such support. We have used Chicago Defender, Indigo, The Times, Austin Weekly. I mean, we're really committed to outreach through the media into the African American community. We work with the Department of Central Management Services in terms of discussing potential BEP vendors and getting their recommendation. We also work with the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, and as well as such organizations such as the Illinois Black Chamber, the Minority Supplier Development Council, the Chatham Business Association, Urban League, and in the number of African American media partners that we have. I'm excited about starting this venture with Camelot. It's a 10-year contract. We've been in business with lottery for 16 months, so we still have a long way to go, and we're still going to be reaching out to all of you who are interested in doing business with us to see how you can partner with us. Our main areas are marketing and print or screen print, small services like that, you know, where we don't have to go out and competitively bid. But even when we do an RFP, as I indicated, I'm looking to put a goal on everything so that we can encourage BEP participation. So I appreciate being here, being invited to give remarks on behalf of my General Manager, Colin Hayden, and also on behalf of my manager, Keith Horton, who's Vice President of Legal and Compliance and Procurement in Camelot, Illinois.
Now, I'm probably the guy that doesn't need the mic too close to me. Let's give Norma Sutton another round of applause. And don't pitter-patter. Let's do it like we really mean it. That's what I'm talking about. You see, when people do great things, even though they may be humble, we should celebrate them. Because how many people know that African American businesses aren't doing as well as we would like, right? So when you hear stories about people saying we're in the business of empowering black-owned businesses, and as long as you're ready, willing, and able, we'll get you across the line, we should celebrate that, right? So, you know, sometimes Larry, Mr. Ivey, and you know what, even though he don't like this, he doesn't like this, let's give him a round of applause. That man's phone never goes on. It's always on. He goes to bed at 2 in the morning, pops up at 5 in the morning. That's dedication right there, right? And we know that in order for this to really happen, we have to be dedicated, right? So I encourage, one of the things that we're in the business of the Illinois Black Chamber of Commerce are doing is strengthening black business. I encourage you all, I'm thankful that you all are here because you know what? It shows dedication. It shows commitment. Believe it or not, in 2019, People don't believe that black businesses exist. Now, no one said, wait, what? How could that be? I talk to people say, wait, where are they at? So from that standpoint, we have to make a presence, and being here allows us to know that there are new businesses, old businesses, growing businesses, developing businesses, powerful businesses, all types of businesses, and it's important to have that diversity in the room. So give yourself a round of applause. I think I toned down from last year. I think I toned down. You know, I'm getting older, getting a few gray hairs on my hair, so I'm, starting to tone down a little bit, I think that at the end of the day, when you come here, obviously we know that it's special. This year we wanted to create an experience. We wanted you to link directly, as we do every year, but continuously to link and build relationships with the people who are doing business. Did anybody do that this time? Did anybody do that? You gotta raise them high, because I'll come to you. I'm like, I will come to you. Like, how many first timers are here? Did you have a great time? How many of you all will go and tell your friends? See, this got to be like the gospel. See, you got to go and tell some more people so some more people can get some benefit. You can't take all that goodness that's happening right now and keep it to yourself. You have to be able to spread it so that we can continue to build on this momentum. And if we build on this momentum year after year, you will see businesses grow. You will see these businesses develop. And if we're not growing and we're not developing, we should definitely demand why. Frederick Douglass said, there's no progress without a demand. You got to have a demand. From a biblical standpoint, they say you have not because you ask not. And some people say, when all you can do, just stand. Now, some people get it wrong in saying standing still. No, you got to stand, and you got to stand strong, and you got to stand boldly. And if you represent our businesses in the capacity that I know we can represent our businesses, then you know what? You guys probably get mad at me. How many people? We'll have more people that can invest in our community. We'll have more people that we can be more proud of. And we'll have people that we talk about gun violence and all of those issues around crime and teenage pregnancy and things like that. Those things will begin to change. Those things will begin to change. I was going to talk to you about Nipsey Hussle, but you guys aren't ready for that. This is a business meeting, so you guys not ready for that. So we're going to just keep it moving. Relationships matter. And your challenge is to go home and not just say, put the lobby day cards up. The challenge is to enhance and empower the relationship outside of the meeting. See, if you just do that, it's like going to church and then at 11 o'clock and then 12 o'clock cussing somebody out because they blocked you off in traffic. See, you got to go. You have to build and increase and enhance the relationship. We do business with people. People do business. We do business with people we know and people we value. And so that is not necessarily just my pitch. That's something that we have to do. And then we need to build on the momentum towards Lobby Day, to convention. The convention's coming. So then we teach businesses that don't know anything about business, hey, come along. So small businesses and large businesses and mid-sized businesses are able to work together and grow each other. That's the power right there. That's what this chamber, that's why Larry Ivey stays up to 2 in the morning and gets back on the road at 5 in the morning. That's why he works tirelessly. That's why he puts a team together. That's why you're here today, so that we can not just go out like a Sunday morning experience, but that we can go out and truly live this out as people live the gospel. My wife is amazing. Hey, thank you, honey. That lady was doing the shuttles today, and she was doing it. I'm going to give a shout out. Hey, that one's for you. But Ameren, Illinois is doing some amazing things, and we want to give them a few minutes to, and I say few minutes to, and I say, few minutes to comment on some of the great things that you're doing. But hey, if you want to know some opportunities that are available, come on, Scott.
Hey, thank you very much. First of all, I need to bring greetings of our president, Richard Mark. Richard knows about communities and relationships. Richard has been named one of the top 100 African American executives by Savoy magazine. and we're proud to have him as a leader of our company. You can see the folks that have been up here representing us. It was mentioned of relationships. I think I've been with Ameren, Illinois 9 years, so I know we've been here 9 years in a row, Larry, to continue the relationship that we've had with the Illinois Black Chamber of Commerce, and we're proud of that. What other CEO in the country doubles their African American spending every year? I can tell you one. I just said his name. In 2017, we spent $70 million on, not minority, African American businesses. And we doubled that in 2018. And that number is reported to the General Assembly and the Illinois Commerce Commission. You know, utility regulation, operating utilities is so important to our communities. We know that if we don't do it right, that our communities aren't successful. I mean, nobody likes paying utility bills, right? But we know it has to be done efficiently, as cheap as possible, and safely. And that's the way we operate our system. Let me tell you one little story and then I'll be done about how we are connected with our communities. A couple of years ago, we were negotiating with the General Assembly about energy efficiency standards and trying to save energy, to save the planet, to deal with climate change. And the energy efficiency experts came to us and said, you know, you need to impose these standards and just drive people to use less. Our boss said the best way to do that is to get into our low-income and middle-class communities and get their houses fixed up. Because you can't save energy, you can't even pretend to get a new air conditioner, HVAC system, light bulbs, fans, whatever, if there are cracks in your window, cracks in your foundation, holes in your ceiling. You can't do it. You're just throwing it literally out the window. And so we convinced them with, and the regulators, with a lot of angst, but a lot of support from community organizations like Teresa Haley, the state director of the NAACP, who went with us hand in hand with a strong relationship, and we got that passed. And that's one of the things that we're doing today, and it was referred to just a minute ago about those opportunities going forward. So we don't double our spending every year without relationships. So thank you for writing down that number and texting him. Thank you for letting us be part of this, and Ameren, Illinois stands ready to serve you any way we can. Thank you.
We're going to bring Eastern Illinois, Danielle Green, who is the head of diversity up here, to have a few remarks.
Good evening. My name is Danielle Green. I'm the Director of Procurement at Eastern Illinois University. I just want to take the time to thank Mr. Ivey for inviting me out today. I've met some great vendors. We're working on building some great relationships. I actually have two of the vendors I met at the last matchmaking session coming out on campus next week to meet with some different departments on campus. I take it personal. Eastern has had a bad record of diversity spend. I'm on a mission. I'm going to change that. I'm going to improve that. Change is hard, but building relationships is where we're going to get there. One of the things Mr. Ivey's taught me is to celebrate our accomplishments, so I'm going to brag for a minute. For FY20, I'm on track to more than double my BEP spend for the campus, so I'm pretty proud of that. We only have room to move up, so reach out to me, get a hold of me, Danielle Green. If you go to eiu.edu, search Danielle Green, get in touch with me. I'll connect you with the right people on campus to build those relationships. I also, save the date, September 17, 2019, I'm having a diverse vendor fair on campus, and it'll be a great opportunity to meet different departments on campus, meet some of our prime contractors that we're already in contracts with, and build connections across the board. So I'm not going to stand up here and bore you anymore, but thank you for the opportunity to speak, and I look forward to meeting with you.
Let's not boring. Talking about money amongst business owners is never boring, right? Run that money. That's what I say. We always at the Illinois Black Chamber of Commerce want to create not just an experience, but obviously not just a one-time experience, but we want to continue to understand from you how we can continue to improve Lobby Day, convention. We want to know what you are interested in. What happened good today? What happened bad today? What could we have improved on? That's how we continue to become stronger as an organization. So bring along the small businesses so that we can grow them up as well. The next person, again, I like to talk about, I sat in a matchmaking session with Illinois State University. Again, very impressed. Very impressed. We had some real honest, keep it real type of dialogue. And the individuals in that room didn't stray away from that dialogue. We're going to bring up Dan Stevens, who's the Vice President for Finance and Planning, to talk about some great things that ISU is doing.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the invitation, and Mr. Ivey, it's always a pleasure, sir. I was able to meet Mr. Ivey a little over a year ago. I joined ISU only 2 years ago, coming from out of state, and it's just been an honor to meet him and also to advance ISU. Very similar to what Danielle said at Eastern, and ISU just simply had not made a priority in its recognition of working with BEP firms and especially African American firms. And when I joined the institution and became aware of that, I talked to the president, Dr. Dietz, and he gave me his commitment, his support that ISU will advance that. And so we're very proud of this particular year. Our results this year, especially with the African American community, will at least be 2 to 3 times our spend, and we're just beginning now. We've been fortunate to have met a number of African American businesses over the last few months. We were here today. We were proud that Mr. Ivey reached out, made sure that our school was here. I know I do speak for other institutions. Aaron Carter here from the University of Illinois and Tracy from Governor State. We all are on the same page. Most important thing for us is that relationship, and it's the awareness that all the public institutions have a lot of needs and a lot of services that are needed. And it's just reaching out and figuring out what services that are available out there, and it's just as much on our responsibility to make those services known. And we're very much interested in having as many matchmaking situations that we can, introduce our buyers, introduce our various departments to organizations, because it is in our mission to advance minority firms and especially to advance African American firms. So thank you again for the opportunity today to have a team here, and we're looking forward to future events such as this.
The next speaker that I'm going to bring up, just to say a few words, has done some great work. We're going to cut the commentary. I think I've given you enough shout outs, but we're going to bring up Roger Goodson from Illinois American Water Company to say a couple of words.
Good evening, everyone. How are you?
Good evening.
So I do have to just let Ameren know that we also doubled our spend last year, okay? So, and the year before that, and the year before that, okay? So we're on the same path with them. So I'm not as established of a speaker as some of these people, so, and I wanted to jot down points, so I got our points across and let you guys know some of the great partnerships we've been able to build and just great things. And diversity starts not just, you know, we don't just worry about diversity as far as trying to make sure we have our vendors taken care of it. Our employees and everyone else considers diversity very important, and you can see it every day as well as in the people that we're hiring. So all their ideas, thoughts, and experience is vital to our culture. We've taken a number of steps to further our leadership in diversity and inclusion. Some of that is such as being here, the IUBDC, which I think most of you know. I personally have probably met with probably 10 or 15 of you that are here. So I say thank you to those meetings, and a lot of you are doing work with us. Just a little bit on our story, okay, our journey, I'll call it. Since 2014, when we began a real focus on our diversity journey, our total diverse spend has increased by 10 times, according to our 2017 numbers. We're just finishing the 2018 numbers, right, Rhonda? Okay. So, for example, in 2014, our MBE spend was less than 1%, which is horrible, okay? We understand that, and at that time, we knew we needed to make a change and do a journey. So since then, the value of goods and services Illinois American Water purchased from diverse businesses increased in 2017 by 32%, or over 38 million. This represented an increase of 11 times our 14 spend, all right? And in 2018, we spent 11 million with MBE alone, translating to 8.5% of our overall spend, okay? So we are doing our job, we're doing what we said we were gonna do. More than 75% of our total diverse spend was with Illinois-based diverse suppliers, and more than 77% of our total MBE spend was with Illinois-based MBEs. All of you here have helped make that happen, and our partnerships are really making a difference every day in what we do. I do have things I'm going to say outside of this, but I want to make sure I cover all this. So looking back on our successes from last year, we saw more of our minority business become prime partners, and that's one thing that we're really working on. And last year we had over 52% of all corporate spend with diverse suppliers. That's a 17% increase of additional diverse supplier opportunity with Illinois American Water over the percentages I just shared with you. And to help maintain a steady pipeline, we continually meet annually with entrepreneurs, business owners, and contractors, many of who we've met through events like today and other chamber events. Partnerships with some companies like, and I'm just going to name a few that I think are here, Infrastructure Engineering with Michael Sutton, we partnered with them. AGB Investigative Service with John Griffin, Excel Screen Printing with Leon Johnson, Lewis Michael Maintenance and Construction with Andre McKnight, and Givesco and JM Industrial Supply with Ron Givens, to name a few. Just so you know, Ron signed last year a $5 million master service agreement with Illinois American Water. He's currently doing our complete remodel on our corporate headquarters in Belleville, and that's being done 100% MBE. All right. He's also leading a design build for our remodeling our Pekin Center over there. So we've got a lot of good partnerships going on. However, we do still need assistance identifying MBE subcontractors for other opportunities we have across the state. When we're able to do this, that's when we can have 100% MBE design and build projects, just like the one that Ron is doing. So it's also critical that we embrace diversity within our workforce. So I just want to talk a little bit about how we've been embracing that with our workforce too. We want our workforce to represent the communities that we serve. So for example, some of the things that we're doing, for some of our numbers is, our total diverse population at Illinois American Water is now about 30%. Since 2014, we've increased our Hispanics and Latinos population by 54%, and we've increased our African American employees population by 45%. We want our workforce to represent our communities. So just on another short note, we know that our diversity and inclusion makes us stronger. And because of the efforts of the Black Chamber and other, the IUBDC and other local communities, we are proud and we're very honored that last year we were awarded the Black Chamber's Corporate Leadership Award, and we're very honored to continue our partnership with you and with the Black Chamber and many others. So thank you for the opportunity. I do want to apologize. Our state president also could not be here tonight, but I think many of you guys know Bruce, and our journey started when Bruce got here in 2014. And he's a leader in this, and very proud, and I'm very proud to work for him. So thank you all for the time.
All right, good evening, everybody. So I'm gonna let you know I'm not Will Kyle, so I can't bring down the house, but I'm gonna do my best up here. My name is Tyra. I'm the Executive Vice President, Chief Operating Officer of the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce. I appreciate everybody here, the members that showed up, the corporate partners that showed up, and here's the big word, showed up. And that's really something that we have to think about, because this is the one thing we need to know about diversity. There's a lot of case studies and a lot of things you can say about diversity, but from a corporate partnership standpoint, it's either in your DNA or it's not. And I think the folks that have come up here have demonstrated that it's either in their DNA, or if they had some challenges before, they realize that they turn the corner. And us as business owners, we should take that as an example from our corporate partners, because as we know, business changes, our industry changes, pricing changes, all of these other things. So we all have to be flexible to be able to change to meet the market demand. And if we do that, we're all going to grow the way that we should grow. In that, what I want to do is I want to bring up our next speaker. So we've got Teresa Haley. She's the state president of the NAACP. So Teresa, where are you?
Good evening. It is truly an honor and a blessing to stand before you tonight. The NAACP, most of you know, or you should know, was started because of the 1908 race riots right here in Springfield, Illinois. Last year we just had the 110th commemoration. It is nothing to be proud of, but as black folks and brown folks, we have to know our history before we know our future and pursue our future, because we don't want to repeat the mistakes that have been made in the past. Some of the things that the NAACP is encouraging all of us to do as black folks and brown folks is the 2020 census are going to be coming up. And it is so important that we're counted. So we're asking black business owners, we're asking your families, your friends, your organization, your civic organization, your Greek organizations to participate in the 2020 census. In 2010, we were left behind. And if you haven't noticed, as black business owners, you will be left behind as well. So it's time that we join forces, that we stand up, and that we continue to work together. The other thing, if you live in Chicago, and if you don't live in Chicago, we're asking you to let your voice be known and to support our first black state's attorney, Kim Foxx. Let's give it up for Kim Foxx. They are really trying to put this sister through some things right now. And the NAACP stands strong with Kim Foxx. When we marched in Chicago because Laquan McDonald had 16 shots to the back, nobody complained, nobody spoke up. But what just happened last week with Samal? They wanted to get rid of Kim Foxx. They thought 16 shots to the back didn't mean anything. But it's time for all of us to stand up and be united. The same thing, let's give it up for our first black female mayor of the city of Chicago. We have to realize that change is going to come regardless if we want it to or not. But we ask that you join forces, and when you see something happening in your community, that you say something. There are a lot of good things happening around Illinois, there are a lot of bad things. But the bad things will continue to happen if we don't say anything. The NAACP continues to speak out for those who can't speak for themselves, who won't speak for themselves, or who don't speak for themselves. Now, if you're strong and you're out there, you're speaking for yourself, we're out there to support you. But if you need a push or you need a little help, please contact the NAACP. We are statewide, from Cairo to Chicago, from Quincy over to Danville. Danville just elected their first black mayor. Let's give it up for Danville, Illinois. Some of you may not even know where Danville is. It's just east of Champaign. But we are doing some great things throughout the state in terms of the NAACP, and there's powers in numbers. And we're asking you to continue to do what you do, to be a strong voice, and to stand up and say something when you see something. So welcome to Springfield. This is my hometown. Not only am I the state president, but I am the Springfield branch president. So have a great night. Thank you.
All right, so next up, we're going to have Marlo. Marlo Cole. There you go. It's Marlo. There you go. Marlo from ComEd is going to come up. Again, ComEd, just one of those partners that support the Black Chamber, support the Black businesses, and we appreciate them being here. So, Marlo.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
A little bit more energy than that. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
After all, we're here celebrating commerce, business, Black business here in the state of Illinois. I see Larry Ivey sitting over there. Larry, it is once again our pleasure to be one of the supporters and sponsors and partners with the Black Chamber here in the state of Illinois. By show of hands, how many here are minority business owner? All right, all right. And by show of hands, how many of you have heard the acronym IUBDC, or the Illinois Utility Business Diversity Council? If you've heard of it, raise your hand. That means we got work to do, Scott. We got to get all these people informed and educated on what we do. IUBDC is a member organization of all the utility companies in the state of Illinois that was brought together by members of the General Assembly and the Illinois Commerce Commission to take a laser-like focus on what we're doing with our spend, with our minority spend. And one of the reasons that Ameren and American Water and ComEd can stand here confidently and say that we've all grown our minority spend in twofold and threefold ways is because of the work of the IUBDC, where we, on an annual basis, we report out to the ICC how we have grown our minority spend. We have an event right here in this hotel, I think the last 2 years, after our annual meeting of the CEOs. It's not like guys like Scott and me who are VPs at these companies. Our CEOs sit on this board. And we want to make sure, Larry, that we get an invite to everybody in the Black Chamber to come out, tell their story, tell our CEOs what it is that you do so that we can partner with you. I look across the room and I see folks from Livewire here tonight and other companies that we've already done business with. Somebody mentioned John Griffin. John Griffin, my frat brother, is now the largest supplier of security services for Commonwealth Edison, one of the largest utility companies in the country. An African-American businessman who's a member and a board member, I believe, of the Black Chamber. John has done remarkably well, and we can tell that story 10 times over. But there's a lot more work to do. My good friend Teresa Haley talked about racial justice in America, here in Illinois. But racial justice starts with economic justice. And we can bring economic parity. There's so much we can do in terms of eliminating racial justice and racial inequities. So we got to continue to grow Black businesses. Commonwealth Edison is committed to that goal. American Water is. I know Ameren is. And let me just say real quick, and I thought Scott was going to say this so I can sit down a little faster. You know, we're working on a piece of legislation right here in Illinois right now to extend what's called the formula rate. And it's simply a new way of rate design that gives companies like Ameren and ComEd the regulatory certainty that the money we spend with vendors to grow and redevelop and reimagine the electric grid in Illinois, to bring on better businesses, for more entrepreneurs to grow their businesses and ideas. We are working to extend the formula rate for another 10 years in the state of Illinois. We also know and are very sensitive to our customers who continue to struggle to meet their needs and paying their bills. And that's why collectively, Ameren and ComEd is putting another $110 million over the next 10 years in our CARE program. Those are the dollars that directly go to help people, senior citizens, veterans, small not-for-profits, and other organizations meet their energy costs here in Illinois. So we are doing the work that the Black Chamber expects us to do. But we want to get you guys involved and engaged with IUBDC. Larry, we're going to see you down in Peoria this summer at the conference. We'll bring more information about IUBDC, and we look forward to working with all of you. Thank you for being here in Springfield this week.
right, so now we're going to bring up another one of our partners, Michele Muhammad. Are you here? Michele Muhammad. Michele Muhammad from NAACP. Appreciate you coming up.
Good evening. I know we've had a long day, so I'm not going to be long, but I'm going to be strong. Mr. Ivey, wow, what can I say? On behalf of NAACP Gas, I would like to thank you for this opportunity to share a few words with everyone tonight about the NAACP Gas's commitment to diversity. But before I do that, I want to just extend a thank you to you, first of all. I think we've only met, what, 2 weeks? And your team has been extraordinarily amazing with getting back to me, getting me on board. This is my first time here. It's been amazing. I've met so many people. I think this is an excellent opportunity. Everything that Melvin, our president, has told me about you, as well as our business leaders throughout the enterprise, of how they value the relationship that we've had. If Dorothy Forster's in the room, I believe we started this relationship about 2008, and with my what I can do is what I promise, until I hit the lottery and come work for you full time, I'm going to do everything I can in my power to continue this relationship. A few things about our commitment at NAACP. So we believe that diversity is neither a program nor a priority, right? We honestly believe that diversity is a value. It's an organizational value. It's a business strategic goal of ours, and that whether you're working with us as a diverse business or working for us as an employee, we value it on every level. Supplier diversity actually has 4 foundational principles. Some of you may have heard about them, but I'll talk about them real briefly because I know we've all had a long day. Advocacy, development, procurement, and reporting. Our advocacy efforts are focused on building awareness around NAACP Gas's commitment to supplier diversity. Development is our focus on trying to ensure that we increase our value creation. One of the things that I'm very proud of is our internal supplier diversity development program, which is an 18-month cohort program that is designed to educate and expose our partners to every major area of our business. We partner up with our business partners and assign them an internal mentor who will work with them one-on-one and guide them throughout the process on how to do business with NAACP at its highest level. So we're excited about that. This is kicking off in June. If you want more information about that development program, please see me afterwards and I'll go more in detail and give you some more information. Our third pillar is around procurement, and basically we're just making sure that we got a seat at the table. We're making sure that whenever we seek opportunities for sourcing, that diversity is also included. And the last one is reporting. In reporting, we just try to hold ourselves accountable with some very aggressive measures and to make sure that we're meeting our expectations as well. So all of these pillars and principles are designed to help us to achieve our goals of creating that long, viable relationship and partnership, as well as we continue to increase our economic footprint within the communities we serve. A little bit about our 2018 diversity spend. And we recognize the importance that diverse businesses bring to our economy. And within NAACP, we also believe that diversity brings a whole nother level of innovation, creativity, quality, as well as our overall competitive within our organization. In 2018, we achieved $346 million in minority women and business-owned spend. This was 41% of our overall company's eligible spend. And so for us, thank you so much. And when we looked at that, it was really a 92% increase over 2017. And that's a direct reflection of our intentional efforts, right, to improve, to increase our diverse spending and providing opportunities for our partners and strengthening our partners. In fact, also, another key thing is that we've challenged our primes to make sure that they're also engaged in accepting what we're talking about when it comes to diversity. So in 2018, our prime partners increased their subcontractors awards by 1.6 to our $1 million in spend. So we're getting everyone at every single level, and we hope that 2019 is just as good as it was in 2018. And lastly, I just want to touch a little bit on our organizational diversity. And at NAACP, we are very, very much engaged and hopefully and committed to making sure that each and every one of our employees is treated with dignity and respect. And we foster an environment whereby diversity of mindset, diversity of background and businesses and are brought to the table so that no one is left behind. And we educate our employees, letting them know the importance of diversity and inclusion, and so much so that they feel empowered to champion supplier diversity efforts. And through our 6 employee resource groups, it allows them to bring them together, to connect them, and to have dialogue, and to be able to internalize what our diversity means to them from their perspective. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was in 2018, and this is an effort that we're trying to ensure that our communities are reflective of us. 2018, we launched a program with MPL Construction and the Quad County of Urban League. Some of you may have heard it, but it was called the NICOR Gas Career Academy. And what that is a 6-week program designed to prepare participants for entry-level positions into the utility space, particularly with gas and natural gas. And of the 21 graduates from that cohort, 13 were offered positions and are currently working at NICOR Gas. And I'm so excited, thank you, so excited to say that this year we're adding 2 additional cohorts. So we are very focused, laser focused on making sure that our communities, we're looking at the resources in our region to make sure that our energy future for tomorrow is bright. And so as I close, I mean, those are just a few key items, that really demonstrates our commitment to supplier diversity. And for me personally, it's more than just putting together a strategy. It's more than checking off a box. It's more than just saying, hey, we got this amount of spend. I'm very passionate about it, and I want to make sure that for us, we know, and everybody that we work with knows, that it's the right thing to do. So thank you again, Mr. Ivey. Switch seats on me. But thank you again for everybody, and I appreciate and continue working with you.
All right, so here we go again. So, like a lot of folks have talked about up here, we have to realize there's a lot of, well, Mr. Ivey says this a lot of times, so I'm going to take some of your words, but I'm giving you credit for it, sir. In the state of Illinois, and just to step back, I don't know if you know, but the state of Illinois is actually, and I can prove it statistically afterwards, I'm not going to give you my cell phone number like Will, so don't call me about it, just pull me aside at the end of this thing and I'll tell you. But statistically, the state of Illinois is the worst state in the union to be black in. And I can statistically prove it. And anybody wants to ask, I'll back it up. But I'm not going to belabor that here. But saying this, what we need is, so what Mr. Ivey talks about is that we don't have a socio-economic problem. We actually have an economic social problem because of most things that we do in small businesses, medium-sized businesses, larger businesses, dedicated corporate partners. Small business is actually the economic engine of a community. And quite frankly, the black community is stalled right now. And so we appreciate all of the things that you do as partners. And wait a minute, getting someone a cell phone. So hot off the press, all of our utility company partners, I just got a text from some of our university partners, and they're gonna outspend you next year. I won't say who sent that, but we'll see what happens in 2020. Yeah, Tracy's ready to go. I see. But it comes from dedicated people providing opportunities, dedicated people doing the work that they're called to do, and with that, that's where the growth comes, and it's organic growth. So again, I won't belabor what I need to say, but I know Tracy, even though you were rubbing your hands together, you said you didn't want to come up. So we're going to acknowledge Tracy Sullivan from Governor State University. Appreciate you being a partner. And Ms. Charlotte Roberts, are you in the room still? I know you don't want to come up and speak, but we're going to acknowledge you from U of I. And I think she is gone, but we appreciate you as a partner too as well. And I'll tell you, we don't have a preference. We love all of our partners because it's dedication, it's hard work to be able to find opportunities, create opportunities, and then follow up too as well. So we appreciate, so let's just give a hand to all of our corporate partners. We thank you all, we appreciate you all. At this point in time, I'm going to turn over the mic. Ma'am, it's time for you to come on up. Ms. Tina Gustis is going to introduce a couple of other partners of ours, and then we'll get ready to close it out.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good evening.
First, I would like to thank Larry Ivey for giving me this opportunity to introduce someone who has become very dear to my heart. And I want to read her bio to you and then just share a little bit about her. I'm sure many of you had an opportunity to take photos with her today and shake her hand. That's Mrs. Marnie Robinson. Marnie Robinson is a communications strategist, journalist, and leader with more than 25 years of combined experience in the public and nonprofit industries. She currently serves as head of the communications and media relations at the Loretto Hospital, a nonprofit safety net hospital on the west side of Chicago. Combining Loretto Hospital's groundbreaking work in natural health care and her passion for health and nutrition, she advocates for her platform, Food is Medicine. Marnie is a spokesperson for healing disease with plant-based whole food nutrition internationally with the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. Marnie leads a very active lifestyle. She enjoys singing at church and spending quality time with her husband, Stefan, and her 3 sons, Stefan Jr., Miles, and Kyle. Marnie enjoys training and competing in bodybuilding competitions and beauty pageants. Marnie has a Bachelor's of Arts in Broadcast Journalism from Columbia College, Chicago, and a Master's of Arts in Communication and Training from Governor State University. She's a member of the National Association of Black Journalists, Chicago chapter, National Public Relations Society of America, and the Illinois Society for Healthcare Marketing and Public Relations. Now, one thing I want to mention about Marnie, Larry gave me permission to do this, and as I made mention, I have taken a personal mission to help Marnie win the 2019 Mrs. International pageant. Now, right now, she's Mrs. Illinois International 2019. And so in July, she's going to be running for Mrs. International pageant 2019. Now, there is a GoFundMe account under her name, Marnie Robinson, which is Mrs. Illinois International, correct? And let's give Marnie Robinson a hand.
Good evening. Everybody looks a little tired. I'm a little tired too, and I don't keep you long, but it is an honor and a privilege to be here. And thank you, Mr. Ivey, for inviting me. Thank you, Tina. Thank everyone for having me. I had an amazing day. I mean, a day that I just could not even have asked for, even being introduced on the Senate floor. So it was just, all I can say is wow. And as Tina said, you know, I'm in the Mrs. Illinois International. I am Mrs. Illinois International 2019, and I will be competing against 30 countries and all 50 states in the Mrs. International 2019 pageant. They have never had a black winner for the Mrs. International. I am one of few to win the title of Mrs. Illinois International, and I'm very honored to hold this crown, to hold this title. The pageant is such a great opportunity because wearing this crown gives you an opportunity to push a platform. And the platform for me is Food is Medicine. Now, you don't know me, but I've been in healthcare for the past 10 years. And I didn't know that God was going to lead me in that direction because I've always been into fitness, I've always been into nutrition, and connecting the dots, how God works, it's just amazing. You just have to be available and ready to go in the direction that He sends you. And a gentleman said something about black businesses are not doing well. Well, the state of our health is not doing well. Overall, black people, we're killing ourselves with what we put in our mouths. We have heart disease, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. And a lot of things that we think are hereditary are not hereditary. And like type 2 diabetes. And in the Austin community where I work, there are 1 in 4 people in the Austin community have heart disease. 1 in 3 diabetes. Those numbers are atrocious. And if you think about something being hereditary, you think about the tradition of our families, the black family. Your grandmother had diabetes, but then look what she ate. Your mother had diabetes, then look what she ate. Look where we grow up. We grow up in areas where there are food deserts. So I would say that it's not necessarily hereditary, but it's what we put in our mouths. Food heals your body. I'm a living witness that food heals. I had a surgery back in 2016 and an adrenalectomy, which is a very rare surgery. And you don't know what you're going to look like inside when the doctor operates, opens you up. But I prayed and I trusted God because I had done my part, eating healthy, exercising. And the chief surgeon at UIC said, when he went inside, he saw nothing but perfect color. He said, I know what you ate. That was my testimony, like, oh my God, thank you. My brother died in 2000, and my niece is here. She hates when I talk about this, but it's a part of my journey. So I share my testimony because the Bible says people will be healed by the power of your testimony. And I completely believe that. And my brother passed away of a massive heart attack last year. And he was on 30 different medications and misdiagnosed. They said he had gout. They had said he had all these things, and he just kept giving him medication. And I remember him telling my mom, I think this medicine is killing me. And never once did the doctor think about changing his diet.
Thank you so much, Marnie. Tori, will you wave your hand, please? If you would like to find other ways that you can be a sponsor for Marnie Robinson, please see Tori. She can share that information with you. And so next, I'm going to introduce to you Chicago Sky. That's the Women National Basketball Association. This is their 14th season and their second year in the Wintrust Arena. The Illinois Black Chamber has forged a partnership with Chicago Sky and is working alongside Chicago Sky Cares Foundation and the Illinois Department of Corrections to help shape legislation. The Chamber has also become a season ticket holder with Chicago Sky as we look to help build more partnerships with our members. Now I'm going to bring to you Adonis Lee, Top Account Executive with the Chicago Sky MBA. Let's give Adonis a hand.
Good evening. Good evening. First off, I want to say thank you to Mr. Ivey and also Tina. By a show of hands, how many of you have heard about the Sky before we came here today? All right. So as Tina said, the Sky is currently going into their 14th season. A quick history on us. We had started playing in 2005 at the UIC Pavilion. In about 2010, we had transferred over to the Allstate Arena out in Rosemont. And then about 2 years ago, we had went on back to the city, where, as Tina had also said, we started playing at the new Wintrust arena. And then we had a complete culture change. We've hired 3 African American vice presidents, Vice President of Ticket Sales, Anthony Whaley, the Vice President of Marketing, Jada Peterson, and the Vice President of Sponsorship, Watchin Nugent. So that's been a huge step for us. And we figured that would be huge because we're looking to reconnect with the city. And in the city, you have people that look like us. And our fans are people of color, people in the LGBTQ community. So we figured that, why not? So for the past couple of seasons, we have had an increase in fans from about 200,000 to over 1 million people. We're always looking to give on back to the communities, South Side, West Side, all that. And we have seen, actually. We're always looking to go with our core pillars. And our core pillars are health and wellness, diversity and inclusion, and also women empowerment. So we're always looking to reconnect with businesses that are also under our core pillars. So, yeah, that's it.
First, let's give Chicago Sky a hand, Adonis. One thing Adonis has not mentioned, which we'll mention, on June, what's the date? June the 1st, the chamber will be at the Chicago Sky basketball game. We want to have at least 200 people in attendance. So we want you to make sure that you put that date on your calendar. We will be giving you additional details about the event. But we have built a partnership with Chicago Sky. Some of you guys know John Rogers. He is a part of the ownership. John, we named an award after John Rogers at our convention called the John Rogers Lifetime Achievement Awards. And everyone who knows John Rogers knows he's an outstanding guy. And we're proud to support Chicago Sky. To the young lady who just stepped away for just a moment, when she mentioned the issue of health, my daughter and my niece looked over at me and started smiling. Now, why did they do that? Because they know I probably need to eat better and take care of myself. So I appreciate the smiles. I'm still a little bit disappointed in the smile that she gave me, but nonetheless, it's the truth. Let me just say, guys, we're closing out, that all of you are important. You know, all of you mean something to all of us, and I really appreciate the commitment that all of you have made. And I see all of my friends out there, Obama Energy, Bill, so many others, and if I start naming people, I'm going to miss someone, so my apologies. I just want you to know that we're proud to serve as president in helping African American black businesses throughout the state, and we will continue to endeavor to strive to improve the current situation and fight to make sure there's equity and fairness throughout the state of Illinois and throughout the country. So again, we'd like to thank you. And I see someone has again broken a promise to me that they said they would not do. My wife. Well, let me just say this before I leave here. It would be a major tragedy if I did not thank my wife for all the work that she does, and she has worked extremely hard. Also, let me acknowledge the team, Allison, Helen, my assistant Kenyatta, who was very instrumental in doing an enormous amount of work for us. So Tyra, my niece, and obviously my lovely wife Janice. I don't know what to say since they did this again, but I told them not to do this, that this was not about doing anything for me. It's just about us coming together and having a great time.
So if we can sing happy birthday to him, that would be great. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Larry. Happy birthday to you.
Good night. Hey, we've come to the end of the day. We've had a great time. We've accomplished our mission. We advocated on behalf of black business throughout the state of Illinois. We met with people who had procurement opportunities, and we are proud of the work that everyone's did to pitch in to make Lobby Day a success. Again, we look forward to the next Lobby Day, and we will continue to endeavor to improve the state of black business throughout the state of Illinois. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am excited to be down here in Springfield with the Illinois Black Chamber of Commerce. It was a day of learning, it was a day of connecting, it was a day of much success. I would tell everyone, next year, if I was you, I would be here. What a great day to be in Springfield. Thank you.
All right. This was a wonderful event. We appreciate everybody coming out to participate in the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce 2019 Lobby Day. We thank our trade partners for coming out, our corporate partners for coming out. We appreciate all our members that came out. We appreciate all the folks in the state agencies that gave us time to come and express our concerns, build relationships, find solutions. So overall, we make the state of Illinois better by bringing up our contractors, our corporate partners, and our state agencies. So thank you very much. We appreciate everybody coming out.